you'll be on the phone, you'll get yourself queued into something else and have a backup plan, and so by the time you get to the front of the line, all they have to do is reissue that ticket for you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I wish I'd known that last Friday. So let's talk a little bit about the woman who is traveling alone. What kind of security or safety advice does she need to know?
She needs to be aware of her surroundings more than anything else. You never know when something's going to happen. I unfortunately, after 4 years of traveling, had the experience of a cab driver pulling a gun on me at 6 in the morning on the airport, on the ride to the airport. The time had just changed, and he didn't rob me, thank goodness. However, he wanted to scare me, and you know what? He did. He met that objective. My question that went through my mind was, do you get off in the middle of a very busy highway at 6 in the morning where it's dark, or do you keep talking to this individual and try to get yourself to the airport? I chose the latter. I got on a plane, I got to Denver, and then I called the police. In this day and age, when you're traveling, dangerous situations can happen to you all the time. I don't care how sophisticated you are, how long you've been on the road. You need to just be aware of your surroundings. One of the nice things about cell phones, if you're in a situation that I just described, you can text message somebody without picking up your cell phone and letting the robber know that you're, or the person, the assailant know you're calling somebody. You'll text message somebody. That will help get help. That will provide help to you that much quicker. When you're traveling by yourself, if you're driving, periodically check in with people. Let them know where you're at, so that if some harm should come to you, they know where the last time you talked to them, what the time was, and where to start looking. It's the same thing when you're traveling and you're going out at night by yourself. I would strongly suggest you put a note in your hotel room that says where you're going, what time you left, and what you were wearing. So again, if something should happen to you, please, the police have somewhere to look. And the last thing is trust your gut. I think as women, we have a tendency to sometimes poo-poo that, and the experiences that I've had and other travelers have had is that when you start trusting your gut 9 times or 10 times out of 10, it will take care of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you have given us some great information, and
thank you.
Your book has like so many wonderful checklists and ways to help people get organized. Is that really the key to successful travel?
I think so. I think that also, as I said, being aware. I started traveling a long time ago. I'm a businesswoman. I don't work for the airlines or for a travel agent. And all these tips had come my way, not only from what I've learned, but from what other women have learned and other mothers. There's a lot in there about that. And what the nice thing about this is I never had a mentor. And so this book has proved to be a mentor for an awful lot of people. And if you have a question, you can just pick it up and go to a certain section. It's not a book that you read from cover to cover. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that. It's all right, I'm going to a hotel, what do I need to look for? Or I'm making it to travel plans, what are the things, where should I be going? How to keep myself safe on the road? How to entertain myself? How to look like that business traveler that's out 300 nights a year, even if you're not.
Okay, well, let's turn to Scott. Scott, what questions do you have?
Well, I was just thinking about the travel agent thing. I know that recently, you know, you get so internet savvy that you tend to, hey, I can get the best fare on the internet. I don't need to go through a travel agent. In fact, I think a lot of us have almost forgotten they exist anymore, because the role they played has been, you know, it has been kind of moved aside because of the internet.
Sure.
Can you dispel a little bit, and I know you did a little bit in your answer before, but that myth that that we saved a lot of money, I guess, going through the travel agent. I didn't think we would. Because I thought, you know what, I have searched everything, I have found the lowest fare.
Right.
As it turned out, there were some airlines that weren't listed.
Right. It's a very good point. There are not, some of your lower carriers are not listed on the major websites, on the travel websites. And the travel agents do know that. And they will go to those if you ask them to. And you know, the other thing is time. You know, Scott, you said that you've looked into all these different places. A lot of people don't have a lot of time to hunt and pack and things of that nature. I will go to a major website and look, and then I'll go to the airline, and then I'll call my travel agent. So I'm a little more informed, so that then we can talk about things. But travel agents also know what the latest deals are that are out there for you. They'll also know what hotels might be better for you, especially if you're traveling with a family. That might be more kid-centric and more kid-friendly, which is going to be very important to you as a parent. from that standpoint. And they, as I said, they may charge a fee. However, to me, that fee comes back in spades. And it really is, when you're in a stressful situation, if you're stranded in Chicago or stranded on the East Coast because of weather, even here in Dallas, it's nice to have that friendly voice to talk to. Because one of the things that they'll do is they'll start making hotel reservations for you if they know your flight's going to be canceled, so that you have a backup. Instead of, you may be sitting at that airport for 10 hours and you've got children, and the last thing you need is to figure out where you're going to stay, because we all know hotels fill up quickly when it comes to that stuff. A good travel agent will have already gotten you booked somewhere close by as a precaution, as a plan B, to make your life a lot easier.
Well, you've convinced me. I do want to, you have some information about how you can be a good parent from the road. And I'm guessing that's if you're on the road and your kids are back home.
That is true. But however, if you and your husband decide to get away and you want to leave your kids back home, there are also the same things like that. A couple of thoughts for you is, one of the things is to put a big map out. It does two things. It does good geography lesson, and also if you put a smiley face on where you're going, your children are going to know that you're not that far away, and so that they're going to see the distance from A to B. I would recommend having a certain time when you want to check. Every parent is different, and how they communicate with their kids are different, and also depending on their age. But if you have young children, and if they know that you're going to be calling them at such and such a time every day, they're going to be more reassured that everything's going to be okay. And of course, cell phone use and Blackberries and instant messaging has certainly helped a lot in all of that too, in order to be able to keep in contact with one another. And then, of course, the other thing that you need to be concerned about is, where are all of the emergency numbers? The doctors, everybody like that, so that if anything should happen, there's always that contact, so that you know that you're protected if anything should happen to your children while you're on the road, because you want to know they're okay too, not just, it's a two-way street. They want to know you're okay, but the same thing goes back with them.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I think I would say that when you're traveling, just to be aware, especially cognizant of your surroundings. Look for subtle signs, especially if you're traveling and it's the busy holiday season, which is coming forward, and you start seeing that there's delays. If a flight attendant or a gate agent, more importantly the gate agent, isn't going to look you in the eye when they're answering your questions, 9 times out of 10 you're not getting a straight story. And make sure you ask for things that are going on behind the scenes, meaning that if your flight is delayed, you want to ask the question of, has the flight taken off? Where is it coming from? When is it scheduled to come in? They may say it's scheduled to come in at 9:45 and they've got you scheduled to go out at 10. You're not going to do that. Know that there's typically 45 minutes to an hour turnaround for an airplane that's on the ground, and you just have to put that into your calculation more than anything else, and to trust your gut.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Great job.
Good.
Great job.
Did I get to the questions you wanted and the answers?
Yeah, for me
Did that
you
help?
did.